You are listening to the It's Your Time podcast, and I'm your host, Certified Life Coach Michelle Arnold Burke. In today's episode, I'm discussing redefining beliefs to create new results. Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. And if you are new here, welcome. We are excited to have you here. I am just getting off the phone with one of my coach friends, and I wanted to share some of what we talked about because I think it applies to so many of us, and it's important to recognize this, that you have the ability to redefine your beliefs in order to create new results. In fact, let me just share where I started thinking about this. It was happening over the weekend. I was watching the Taylor Swift documentary, Miss Americana, and I mentioned in an earlier podcast how we went with our nieces, and by we, I mean my sister and I, for sure, not Mark and I. And I told the girls after the concert that I was going to practice the Taylor walk because she seemed to have such an energetic, powerful way about her, and this business of being like super self-confident, or this air about her, to which they informed me, not so much. I mean, listen, they are the true Swifties, so I will go with what they say. And in fact, that was the takeaway from the show. Here's why I share this part, the part about watching the documentary. There is a rhyme and reason here, folks, because love her or hate her, that really isn't the point. The point is, she is super famous. She has a lot of money. She is living in a world that probably many of us really don't have a clue about. And yet she talked about how much unwinding she had to do, and sounds like still does, in her belief systems around things like being a good girl and how a girl is supposed to be, and having the belief in herself and the knowledge of her inward worthiness. She makes millions of dollars. She has a crazy loyal fan base, and yet she still deals with the same things many of us do. And that's where the conversation with my friend was going. Looking at some of the beliefs that we have been programmed to believe are just facts, and actually taking it to the next level, talking about how many beliefs we have that we don't even realize we have, that are just so ingrained, they seem like facts. And how this thinking creates the results that you, me, her, all of us have in our lives. And I want to tackle a couple of angles with this. And as always, I want you to think about how it applies to you and get curious. Do you still want to keep thinking the same way you are now, or are you ready for some change? Okay, let's start with the idea around being a female. Now, in the documentary, Taylor was talking about growing up in Tennessee and always having to be the quote unquote good girl, saying yes and please and thank you, and never really speaking out of line or not speaking at all about what she really wanted. And I was like, yep. I mean, I didn't grow up in the South, but for sure, I have been programmed to be nice, don't make too many waves, we don't want to upset anyone. And we laugh about this one, but it is for sure something that I know I used to believe to be true. I would ask my dad how I could help him, and he would always say, stay out of the way. I often still do my best to stay out of the way in many adult situations. And I have this running thought that I don't want to get in trouble. And I know that I am not alone because I talk to you, I talk to friends, I talk to clients, and it might not be the exact same sentence. It might be a little bit different for you, but the idea is still there. And I want you to start getting curious about what it means. What it means to be a woman, and a woman in the workplace could be another great way to examine this. I will tell you, although there are more women in sales roles now in my company versus when I first started, which was quite a long time ago, there still needs to be more. I am the only female rep in my district. And I have a podcast actually coming up with a guest speaker. I think it'll be next week, where we are going to dive into that topic, like what it means to be a woman in sales, what it means to be recruited as a woman in sales. And I don't want to get into the weeds about that here, but stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. And I know that there are a lot of females that have lots of thoughts and beliefs around that idea of what it means to be in sales, especially as a female. And most often, I believe those thoughts are holding you back. So, questions to ask yourself. What do I believe to be true about being a woman? And where Taylor said she had to unwind a lot of her past thinking, that is exactly the way you need to work this. It's almost like our beliefs are balls of string, and they might be so tightly wound that you don't just go from I should be seen and not heard to I am the most powerful voice in this room. It is a process. It is literally unwinding. You have to start poking holes in the stories that you've been telling yourself. Ask yourself, what else could be true? Maybe who do you know that might not have the same thought? What might be some of her thoughts? And can you try them on for yourself and see if they work for you? And then you start building the new neural pathways of your new beliefs systems of what you want to believe to be true about yourself. And that comes from intentional practice and repetition. Okay, let's look at some of your money beliefs. I think this is important because I believe there are lots of women maybe not making their true potential, not only because of the thoughts that you have about your own worthiness and deservingness, which is the first part of this podcast, right? Getting clear on that, but also because of the thoughts that you have around money, around having money, around what it means to be a person, a female who has a lot of money. And again, most of this thinking is handed down to us from our parents. Or maybe friends that have said things to you in the past. Think about it as like these suitcases that we just drag along with us. The fact of the matter is, we don't have to take all of them. You can empty some of them. You can leave some of them entirely behind. It is all up to you. And I know for me, our family thinks it's ridiculous to spend money on things that you don't need. In fact, maybe I should make a caveat. It's more like my dad especially who thinks that, and maybe my brothers. So I'll leave my sister out of this one. She's okay with spending money on things that she doesn't necessarily need. The thoughts around money also include money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard to get money. Or what is that one saying a friend said to me one time? Something like the hogs get slayed. I think you get the idea. All negative beliefs around having too much money. So look at what we have done here. Now, let me remind you, the brain is designed to always look for the negative. It's on the watch for danger. This was important for survival years and years ago. There was great importance put on being with your tribe because if you left, you might be eaten or killed. I guess being eaten would likely include being killed, right? But anyways, our brains have not evolved to recognize yet that we actually don't need to be with the tribe for our own safety. And now I want you to take a look. Here is what we have done. You first have all of the thoughts about yourself, and if they are around lack of worthiness or anything around doubting your abilities to do the things the way you want to do them, to be able to live unapologetically, like not always needing permission from the outside world, and you combine that with your belief system around money that you took on from your family and or friends, and that you basically shouldn't have too much money, then for sure you shouldn't also probably flaunt it or talk about it. Then what do you think happens when we have that combination? You won't go after the bigger money goals because you already have this lower sense of confidence in yourself. And if you venture outside of what the family norms are, your brain is going to tell you, don't do it. You can't go against what the family says, you might die. Now, it would be lovely if the brain was that obvious, but most often it's at a deeper level, like subconscious. It's subconscious ways of thinking and being that are holding you back. And that's why it's so important to become aware of the thinking. Because once you can see what is going on in that human brain of yours, you get to decide if the thinking is useful. And let me tell you from experience, it might take a while to unwind some of this. And I think the breath work that I'm doing now, and I will be sharing with you soon, is a great way to help speed up this process. It allows you to get more out of your mind and into your body. So out of your brain and into your body. And when used in combination with the mindset work, it really sets everything on fire. And because I do really want more people, especially more women, to feel more confident in living life in the way that you want to without needing permission from everybody else, I am going to be including 6 breath works in the Boost Your Confidence and Discover Your Purpose 6-week program. So to find all of the details, you can head to michelleburkecoaching.com/confidence. But basically, it's 6 weeks, and each week you work on a new topic. Things like overcoming imposter syndrome, confident self-care practices, self-awareness and belief in yourself, exactly what we're touching on here. And each week you get a quick audio lesson and then the opportunity to work on a specific scenario in your life. And there is also midweek accountability email check-ins, which is your chance to get email coaching. And then the breath works, which are not in there yet, but they are coming. And they will be 6 separate sessions, which will be recorded. So you get to do it as your schedule permits. And that is all for $47. It is truly a great combo. Yes, of the building your confidence, but also getting the introduction to what breathwork is. And I cannot wait to hear how it helps you. Okay, now I want to end with your beliefs around relationships. And the course tackles the most important relationship that you have in your life, which is the one you have with yourself. But you also get to define, maybe unwind, what it means to be in relationships with others, what it means to be a daughter, a partner, an employee, all of the ways that you show up in relation to others. You get to decide what that looks like. You don't have to continue to subscribe to what society or friends or family have told you. And I've mentioned here before, for years, not even almost, I was. I just didn't realize it. I was showing up in these subtle ways of apologizing for my life of not being a mom, as if being a mom was what was going to make me worthy. As if being a mom would fix the relationship that I had with my biological mom. As if I was doing life wrong because I wasn't a mom. And again, the brain doesn't always just come out and say it like that. It's often the way that your body reacts. How I would feel when people would ask if we have kids, or when family members were having kids, and all of this stuff would come up around me not having kids. You know what? None of that matters. What matters is your belief system. You get to define what it means to be a mom and to not be a mom. It does not have to look like what everyone else says you should do. Do you know the freedom in actually believing that? Having a belief system that says you get to live life the way you want to? Like moms, it's okay if you say that you don't want to make the cupcakes and you don't want to go to those kids' parties. And not a mom, it's okay if you say that you want to spend your money on trips. Again, just get curious. Look at the relationships that you have. Where are you feeling the most grief or frustration or love? How can you focus more of the love in more loving relationships that are helpful and useful for your life? Get curious why the other relationships are where they are. And from there, you can begin making changes that make sense for you. Okay, quick summary. Get curious about the beliefs that you have about yourself as a woman. Take a look at the belief systems that you have around money, and start paying attention to the relationship that you have with others, and of course, with yourself. Once you start building the awareness around all of it, decide if you want to start making changes, and then get busy taking action on said changes. Reminder, if you want to begin with the 6-week course, Boost Your Confidence and Discover Your Purpose, head to michelleburkecoaching.com/confidence. Okay, friends, with that, our relationship and the belief here is that I respect your time and keep this short. You take what works and leave what doesn't. And we shall meet back here again next week. Make it a great day. Take care. Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.